What is up, guys? Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to give you the single most important tip on how to save fuel and increase efficiency on your Lexus or Toyota vehicle. So let's go ahead. In the cockpit, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So we are in the 2023 Lexus NX 350h, and I'm going to show you that #1 technique. And I made a previous video about this on all the things that you can do to increase fuel economy of your Lexus or Toyota vehicle. But the #1 gas saving tip that you can go ahead and use is pulse and glide. So all you're going to do is really kind of as it is said, you're going to pulse the engine, get the engine going, get up to speed, and then you're going to release off the gas completely, and then you're going to put a little bit of throttle back in just to have the battery keep the forward momentum of the vehicle going. And now you can see in my tachometer, the battery, not the engine, is the only thing that's keeping the forward momentum going of the vehicle. And now for every vehicle, it's going to be a little bit different based on the throttle, where you have it, when the engine will engage. For me, I know the engine engages just after I put the throttle above the eco sign on my tachometer. Every vehicle is different. You're going to find what is your specific way to go ahead and get the best fuel economy out of this pulse and glide technique. But the entire impetus of why you're doing this is because you want to go ahead and reduce the amount of time that the engine is on. That is the key. If you can reduce the amount of time that the engine's actually operating, you're going to significantly increase your fuel economy and savings. And so typically what you'd want to do is pulse to a speed that's a little bit over the speed limit, release off the gas, have it completely turn off the engine, and then glide, and then a pulse again. So right now, I'm going to slowly, gradually use the energy of my battery to accelerate. But once I know I need to really accelerate, that's when the engine kicks in. I'm going to change lane. I'm going to pulse. You know, be good on this pulse. Get up to speed, then glide. Reduce off, and then finally put a little bit of throttle back in, just to keep the battery putting some energy into those wheels to keep the forward momentum going. So you can see right now, I'm just putting a very little bit of throttle right here. The battery is just giving a little bit of energy into the drive wheels just to keep me going and keeping that speed. This is exactly what you want to do. Right now, the engine's completely off, and you're going to significantly improve the fuel economy of your vehicle. So I went ahead and used this method, and typically this vehicle is rated at about 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers, right? That was my average, about 5,000 kilometers on this vehicle. Using this pulse and glide technique, I was able to get that down to 5.7 and 5.8 liters per 100 kilometers. So through these city streets by employing this method. So again, I've glided all the way from that pulse to this red light without having the engine on at all. This entire time, the engine is off. Now, for all of your Lexus and Toyota vehicles, you're going to have some sort of energy monitor display. And you should be able to clearly see mine. Right now, again, the great thing is from that pulse all the way to this stop here on this red light, the engine's completely off. And this is where that fuel savings is really going to kick in. And what you're basically doing is you're manipulating and understanding how the Lexus hybrid powertrain engages the engine and engages the battery. And all you're trying to do is optimize for reducing the amount of engine on time there is. So it's really cool. That's kind of, I think, one of the main reasons why they have this energy monitor here. Also because it looks fun and it's kind of cool to see what's actually driving your wheels. But this is going to really help you get the maximum fuel economy out of your vehicle. And I know in 2023, it is expensive to live. We're in Canada. Cost of living is crazy. Fuel is expensive. You know, lots of things are expensive, and people are looking for ways to get the most bang for their dollar. So I'm slowly accelerating. Only on the battery, okay? Engine just turned on, I'm pulsing. Don't be afraid, you want to get up to speed as quickly as possible, and then you want to glide. So I've reduced off the gas completely. Now I'm going to put a little bit of throttle back on, but not too much to trigger my engine to come on, just enough to keep the forward momentum, using the battery energy only to keep me going. And you can see right now, of course, depending on your grade, if you're going uphill or downhill, or if you're flat, it's going to be a little bit different. Sometimes you're going to have to pulse more, then glide, all of that. I'm on pretty flat road right now, and you can see from the pulse, the energy from the battery is sufficient on a flat plane just to keep the car going, right? You're eventually gonna have to pulse, but it keeps the car going and the engine's gonna be off, and you're not gonna have to worry kind of about using excess fuel. And this is the best way to do it. Now, again, I'm coming to a stop. I'm using my regenerative braking. If you haven't seen those tips, again, I'm gonna link that video in the card above. But this is really one of the biggest tips. And to me, it was just always so counterintuitive. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I'm accelerating fast, which means, you know, I'm putting more gas into the engine. That's gotta be bad for fuel economy. But the evil of keeping an idle engine just constantly running is much worse for fuel economy. And I've proven that in the other video. Again, immediately a huge increase in performance. Consumer Reports actually, and a bunch of other publications, which I'll also link in the description box down below, has shown 25% increase in fuel economy just by employing this one simple technique. Now, again, if you want to employ all of the techniques that I shared in my previous video, I highly recommend you check out that video. I will link it in the card above, and it'll also be at the end screen at the end of this video. You employ all of those techniques, you're going to increase the fuel economy and get the maximum efficiency out of your Lexus or Toyota vehicle. And that's what you want, right? You bought this hybrid to drive efficiently, to have great gas mileage so you can save money. That was the entire purpose of this hybrid powertrain for you. That was for me, right? I wanted to go ahead, figure out how I can go ahead and save some money. I drive a lot, but without going full electric. The hybrid was the best of both worlds. So to actually get that and more, if you apply this pulse and glide technique in your daily driving, and by the way, it's gonna feel natural over time. It may feel a little bit weird to start, but once you get used to it, it's just gonna happen like, you know, as you drive a manual transmission, you just automatically do it just like you breathe. So I'm pulsing, going up a hill, and I'm gliding. And then I'm gonna put a little throttle in just to get it rolling, but now I'm going uphill. So this is where I'm gonna have to pulse again. Pulse, and release. And now the engine's completely off. And I'm driving along. I'm gonna put a little throttle in. The battery's now helping out with that forward momentum. Engine is off. I'm still keeping the appropriate speed. And again, this doesn't mean you're not supposed to drive the way you're supposed to drive. You wanna drive safely on the road, but you wanna do it within the means of this pulse and glide technique. And so right now, I'm simply keeping my speed, using the battery, and the engine's off this entire time. This is great. Now, if you're on the highway, pulse and glide will not work out so much. It's actually more recommended that you use your, cruise control. Use that. That's going to give you the optimal time. Your engine's going to be running more when you're obviously on the highway, but when you're in the city streets, you can definitely pulse and glide. So right now, I'm going to pulse. Put that engine up, use it, and glide. Release, you're gliding through. And this is really, really gonna help your fuel economy out. So let's go ahead, check out, what's our fuel economy been? 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers on this trip since I started this pulse and gliding in this video. And again, this vehicle's rated for about 6.4, that's been my average. 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers. This is the trip average that we're getting. Already a significant improvement in my eyes in terms of fuel economy. And this is really a game changer, right? This is gonna really increase the fuel economy for you and get the best bang for your buck out of every fill up. And I know that's important for so many people. It's important for me. So when I'm driving around, once you do this, by the way, it's gonna be second nature. You're gonna just drive like this, it's gonna be normal, and you're immediately gonna get these savings, that dollar and that money back in your pocket, which is awesome. So if you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comment box down below. If you found this video helpful, great. Like this video, make sure you subscribe. I cover everything to do with cars, detailing, all these kind of tips. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I promise you'll enjoy it. Lots of cool, interesting content coming out in the future. But this is definitely one of the things I wanted to share with you guys, especially with the cost of living increases and just how expensive everything is in the world today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.